Hi, welcome to our second episode of ReaL. I'm Keara Bennett.
And I'm Beevers.
And today we've got Tom Halliwell and Nathan Collins joining us.
So, I asked you to send us a brief introduction of yourselves, and Tom seems to flatter himself a little bit. No, I'm joking. We just wanted to know about your rugby career initially. So you started off playing at 3-year-old.
Yeah.
You started at Kipax, then moved to Ulton at under-12s, and then joined the Rhinos in 2014. How old would you have been there?
13 going 14.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Made your England debut at 15 years old, and since playing for the Rhinos and England, you've done 2 grand finals, 3 Challenge Cup finals, 3 league leaders, 1 World Cup championships, 1 Euros, 4 Nations, 1 Tri-Nations, and you said that you're not too sure, but 31 caps.
So something around that, yeah.
Wow.
See what I mean about flattering himself? Yeah, the podcast is done. And Nathan, for yourself, you joined... Yeah, I should have gone you first, to be honest. Rhinos are in 2010. How old would you have been? 10. England at 15-year-old again. 4 Nations, 5 or 6 grand finals, 5 Challenge Cup finals, 1 World Cup victory, and 26 caps.
Yeah. Need to catch up, mate.
Very busy bees. So initially, we want to know how you got into wheelchair rugby league.
Do you want to start? Because I think mine's quite out there, to be fair.
You can go first if you want.
Yeah, whatever. So I obviously started playing the run game like 3. The reason why I started playing rugby altogether were apparently I was a wimp growing up. Yeah, honestly, I used to cry all the time apparently to my family. So they're like, right, we need to toughen him up. We need to get him to a spot where he pretty much needs to man up. So I got into rugby, started at Kipax, went through the ranks up until about high school, and then there wasn't an age group in my age. So I was playing the year above throughout when I was younger, and then moved to Ulton to play my age group, and then I broke my foot quite badly, and I was in a wheelchair for about 8 to 12 weeks or something like that, and then a bit lost, didn't know what to do, just at home, not really doing anything, couldn't go to school or out, so started wheelchair rugby, and then just haven't looked back since.
Nathan?
Nice. I started back in 2010. There was a road show going on, and I was going to Scouts, I believe, at the time, and they were doing a road show. They asked me would I like to come down after they did that, and I thought, why not give it a go? I played rugby my whole life for same teams as Tom Kipax and Ulton, and I thought, yeah, give it a go, meet some new people, and never looked back ever since.
So what we've been talking about previously is like just how immense the wheelchair game is, not only on the field but off it. It's so inclusive. You've got men and women, no age limit, so people can play with family members such as dads, even mums. Obviously, disability, non-disability. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's unreal. I mean, we're lucky that we actually went to the same primary school, everything with each other. So I think half of the time you were just following me around for half the time. But we went to primary school together, went to the same amateur clubs together, and then at Rhinos in England together. So we've been through everything sort of together, which is quite a cool story in itself. But for example, I wouldn't have known James Simpson if it wasn't for Wheelchair Rugby League, and he's probably one of the massive legend of someone who inspires us not only as a person and a player but as a coach as well. And he's a great person, and like just so many other different stories that you hear of, like the Jack Brown, why he got into the sport. Because his brother Harry Brown got meningitis, had both of his legs amputated, and he didn't want to get into any sports whatsoever, and Jack pretty much went, right, I'll do this sport with you as long as you do it, and then they both probably gone on to win a World Cup and be a GB Paralympian so many times, and the stories you get from people playing with the dads, playing with the mums and sisters, brothers, whatever, it's just, you love that sort of thing, and it's just amazing to be a part of.
So I really want to talk about obviously the experience of the World Cup for you guys. Obviously winning it, that must have been an unreal feeling. How did that go? How was camp life first of all? How was that?
Camp life was really good. I think we didn't want to leave. None of us, we had the best time. Well, mates on and off the pitch, and we all, get along so well. So we all really enjoyed being in camp with each other. We started off going to Belgium a couple of days before we went into camp, just as a team bonding kind of thing. Went to yeah, like a war memorial thing.
Yeah.
Went and visited all that. Talked about why we went there, what they've done to serve their country in the war, and people from England going over there to fight for our country, and that's what we kind of have to do. In the World Cup, fighting for your country. Playing to win the World Cup.
I guess a big benefit of the wheelchair game is that you're only a small squad, aren't you? How many's in a squad?
So for the World Cup, we could have had 12 in a squad, but obviously you have 5 on a pitch at the same time, so we didn't actually have 12, we had one less, we had 11. Just because of the fact that I think the rotation that Tom Coyd wanted, we wanted more of the group to get game time, and I think if they had 12, they'd be sitting 2 or 3 out every game, and I don't think he thought it was fair on those players, so I think he just had 11, and I think it was the right choice looking back now, and especially with how tight we were. We've half of the squad we've been together since 2015, since I were in there, and so it was like 7 years of knowing each other and building relationships, and sort of like Nathan said, we didn't want to leave. We actually had a choice to have a break in between the World Cup, so I think we played all our group games, and we had like a day off in between the semi-final and the group games, and we all, before we were leaving, we all had a meeting together, like little sat down, and we all pretty much started crying. we're grown men, we shouldn't be crying about this, we shouldn't be crying about leaving each other for a day. It literally were a day, and everyone were crying, like saying, I don't want to go, I don't want to leave. But in the group chat the next day, we had photos of everyone back with the dogs and back with the families and partners and stuff like that, so that was nice to see, and it was really good to be a part of it, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why we won it in the end, just with how together we were and how close of a unit we were.
So obviously, leading up to a game, what did your prep look like? What in particular did you do to make sure you was on the game?
What do you do? You.
I just make sure like everything's done first, everything's ready out.
Yep.
I'm ready to play the game all like. Because I'm a kicker, I normally go out first in England. I always make sure I've got a ball, kicking tee, ready to go, chairs ready.
Yeah.
And I'm always ready, 10 minutes before everybody else is, so I'm ready to go out there and warm up first, so I've got enough time.
Mine's more methodical, I literally think days before a game.
Okay.
He probably just strolls up to a game and
I
does
pack
that.
up morning, yeah.
Honestly, he's the most...
You pack on the same morning?
Depends what time we're leaving.
Okay.
Whether you get a lion or not.
What makes breakfast as well?
If we're leaving at 6, I'll pack that before. No.
See, this is what he's like on the field as well. You try and plan stuff for him to do stuff like, oh yeah, we'll do this now, and he's hanging it back, not doing anything. I'm like, what are you doing?
Play off the cuff.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
And then I'll play the ball, get ready for him, and he'll go through and score. And I'm like, I'm trying to plan something, and he goes through and scores anyway. I'm like, I can't be angry at you because you scored, but you've gone against the plan. It's a nightmare, is that?
I'd be on plan.
Like for me, I think I have like a set routine in terms of what I'm eating. My song. What's my song?
Baddest of them all.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's everybody's song since winning the grand final.
And Murder on the Dance Floor, I like that one.
Oh, that's a banger.
Yeah, exactly.
Pre-game, if Keara's not dancing around the changing rooms to that song, there's something wrong.
He's only dancing about changing.
See,
Yeah.
It's just about vibes, isn't it?
It's just about vibes, getting everyone in the same vibes.
So on the back of that also, how about the crowds? It was like jam-packed, wasn't it? And obviously the TV coverage. I mean, I remember us being in camp watching your games. It was like so physical. Probably one of the first times I've ever watched, and I was like so engaged. So how was that for you being there?
It was crazy, wasn't it, to be honest? Like, everyone did this build-up for the first game against Australia, and we were like, right, it's going to be all right. It's just going to be like a final sort of game, and half of the squad have played in those finals before, so they know what it's about, but it was just a different level. Every time we had the ball, all you heard were just cheering and stuff like that. You couldn't hear your teammates at the side of you, and I think that's probably why we were probably so nervous in our performance. Like, we won't play it ourselves, and I think it reflected on the field and just how nervous we were, but it was just so good. But as soon as we got out there, and then to break it, we thought Australia would be the peak of like the attendance, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger as it went on, and we were so shocked by that. Like, there were blowout games against Ireland and Spain, and we had people breaking records and even more people coming, and it just seemed like you couldn't beat it, and it just got beaten every single
I
time.
think it was school kids that really loud.
Massively.
Schools all around the top part of the copper box, and it was just like they're all screaming every time you got the ball.
So that it's literally on you as well. Is the copper box? It's like, I can't remember. I don't know what stadium it's like. All the fans are like on top of you as well. So you just hear everything, and it were crazy.
That's something that we found. It's something that you're not used to, is it? It's like the women's game and the wheelchair game at the time. I've been to a few previously, and there's just a few benches on the sideline, and people just stood against the walls. And the women's game, we're slowly breaking barriers. But I'm not remotely shocked that you're reaching the attendances that you were, especially like Keara said, when we were in camps, all the girls were screaming. Yeah, you had so many people backing you, and I think it was more than warranted. But you're not wrong when you've got all that noise behind you. And you're definitely not used to it. I think that's where the game needs to go, and that's how the progressions are getting further and further.
Yeah, 1,000%. Well, I think there's a comparison between the wheelchair and the women's sort of game, because we're both experiencing all this for the first time, and like you said, you were watching us, but we were sat on our bean bags watching you guys play and cheering for you guys, especially in the semi-final, because we already booked our place, so we were like, all right, come on girls, let's get through it. And obviously, sadly, it didn't happen, but we all cheered and watched you all play, and it's sort of things like the crowds and like doing all this new things that are coming with the game. Like when it gets to new lights, it's sort of you can compare the two, and I think that's why there's quite a relationship between even at Rhinos and at England, like between the wheelchair and the women's sides. You're like, oh, you doing this, you doing that, and I think that's where we all sort of get along.
Yeah, I think that's so important, isn't it? Like just having the inclusivity and building relationships. It's so nice to have that, and I think it's just better, one, looking at it from a club perspective in terms of the whole club being together, but also just the extra support each team can provide each other is just so important, especially moving forward, because we're the people who are creating these opportunities and being role models for other people.
I think that's massively Leeds Rhinos' aim as a club. They just love inclusivity and trying to get everybody on the same page and doing big club sessions. I think that's what's going to make a club a home, really. And I think apart from yourself, we've all really been brought up around like Leeds and coming in at a young age. Man, you were a transfer, but just to dig it in. But playing for someone that you've found as being your childhood club from starting so young, this is what you want.
Yeah, it's sort of lucky, really.
It's what you dream of, really. Support your own team, play for your home club.
Yeah.
Especially with how there's no other club in the world that are doing it like the Rhinos at the moment with the foundation and just the club in general. There's no other club in the world that are doing it like us, and it's sort of privileged to be a part of it, and very grateful to sort of wear the badge and wear it with pride, and especially when you see the first teamers come up and know who you are, chat to you, all this and all that, and even the women's and the academy boys and sort of all the PD and LD lot. You can walk around the ground and no doubt they'll come up to you and say hello and stuff like that. So I don't think you get that anywhere else, which is quite special, and I think what's been built is really, really remarkable and something that we all should be proud of, really. Absolutely.
So you win the World Cup. You're number one in the world, not to make your head bigger.
Tom doesn't need it.
So the opportunities that come after the World Cup, how was that? How was it like going back to real life, the opportunities you've been given? You've obviously just been to Wimbledon. Do you want to talk about that? Other things like that?
I don't think I've got back to real life yet, to be honest. It's just been hectic ever since, like you can vouch for that as well. Yeah. The amount of like awards, events and stuff like that we've been going to and feeling like imposter syndrome, like thinking what are we doing here? Like there's all Sports Personality of the Year were the biggest one.
Yeah.
There were Jessica Ennis-Hill, Chris Hoy and stuff like that just at the bar, and I'm like, what? I'm with you guys here.
And the top elite players. From around the world. It's just like thinking I've watched you on TV growing up. I'm like,
yeah, it was so strange. And
so they're talking to you, like it just feels weird.
Like, we took inspiration from the Lionesses of what they did, brought the country together, and we thought if we win the World Cup, we can sort of bring the country together a little bit, and to see them in person, and it was like starstruck. You're like, wow, we took inspiration from you guys, and now we're here. And that was the same at Wimbledon as well. Like, I've just been around so many different athletes, and just around them all, like it's just unreal experience, and speaking to them all about their experiences and knowing that they're still everyday people. Like I was sat there and I had AP McCoy sat behind me with his dad, and they were just having like a father-son conversation which I was just overhearing. I was just like, yeah, they're just proper people, like there's nothing other else to say. And then even to have the legend of tennis like Billie Jean King come up to me and speak to me about well done for what you've done and stuff like that, and she was just telling me about the different tactics and roles in tennis, and spotting out different coaches and stuff in the crowds and stuff like that. It was good insight, and it really, really good day, and yeah, amazing to what's happened since, and yeah, just gotta keep our head screwed on now and not
Sipping poops while we're working hard playing.
So obviously the opportunities that you've been given have increased, but not only that, the participation rates within the wheelchair game have absolutely exploded, haven't they? Like at Leeds, how many players did you used to have previously?
Yeah, it's gone through the roof. We used to have like just 8 of us at trainings play, 8 to 10, and then all of a sudden after the World Cup, you know, numbers are flying like over 30 altogether. Now we've had to split into sessions so we can all train, you know, and get everybody in chairs. So we have a junior session which you coach, who have about 9 players, like a development team. I think they're averaging like between 22 and 26 players a week, and obviously the first team lot, they're playing in the Super League, so it's really good to have so many people involved in the sport.
Yeah, and another thing that people pick up on, like players that are in the development side sort of come up and after training, like sometimes some of the first teamers train on the development side just to just get in the chair, get practicing and more hours, like obviously the 1,000 hours sort of thing. Regards and sometimes the like, I can't believe we've got World Cup winning players playing with us. We've been playing for 3 months, so we've got World Cup winners playing with us, we've got first team players playing for us, and I don't think you get that in any other sport, to be honest. And you won't get, if England win the World Cup in football, I don't think you'll get them playing with a Sunday league team week in, week out. So I think it's just good, and they're coming on leaps and bounds and taking little things from us and what we've been doing, and I get so much enjoyment out of coaching the younger lot and seeing them sort of go on the right path and not making the mistakes that we've had when we were younger and being making stupid mistakes and silly errors. So yeah, I think we're teaching them in the right way and doing it the proper way in at Leeds. And like I say, no one else is doing it like Leeds, even in wheelchair women's and men's and just the whole community. No one's doing it like us, especially with the participation levels that we get and through when we go out into the community, and like the numbers we've been getting from that is just rewarding. There's no lies behind our success and you guys' success. That it's from the hard work that's been put in.
Yeah, I think it's like you being a coach and being able to do that. I think that's so important, especially I enjoy it as well, like giving back to the community, because it's important to obviously increase the participation rates, but just make sure the game's growing and just giving something back, I guess. And as a result of that, you're kind of role models. So first of all, who was your role models when you was growing up?
Oh, I've
Probably about to say one.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that because I think it's everyone's answer, and it's rightly so as well. But I think my granddad were probably my biggest inspiration growing up. He took me to every training session, took me to every game. He like when you're at amateur rugby, you don't really get the blessings that you get when you're at like a professional system like us at Rhinos in England, where you have like analysis and people going through what completion rate. So he would just sat on the side and doing the completion rate in his head and doing honestly. And the coaches used to go up to him at half time and goes, "What, Trev, what's the completion rate?" And he'd be like, "Oh, looking at 56% here." And then the coaches would come on and bollock us for being at 56% possession. But no, I used to do that every week, and then when he passed, it was sort of a thing like, I've got to have to do this for you, and that's sort of my legacy and my inspiration. And like the World Cup, he were a massive part of that, and will forever to be a massive part of it. And
yeah, my granddad used to play, rugby, so he's a massive part of it. Also, Von Borough, obviously playing rugby, running game most of my life as well, up to 16. Obviously, I'm smaller than a lot of people, so I took great, inspiration from him.
He tried so hard to not laugh.
I can hear him. I took great inspiration from him. Obviously, being a small player, playing, at such a high level, it shows that anybody could have done it. So, yeah.
That's really nice.
So, In terms of the Leeds team, and you talked about the international setup, I was talking the other day to our head coach, Stu, and we were talking about what's it like playing against the people that you actually play with at England, because it is such a small and close-knit group. Do you leave it out all on the pitch? Do you change your attitudes?
Oh yeah, you have to change. Like you can't go into it thinking you're still teammates. Like I think that's something that we do well. Like as soon as we're wearing the Leeds, wear Leeds. Like I don't care about anyone else. Wear Leeds. As soon as we're in England, that's when we're in England. Like everything else gets shut away. And
I think it's a good thing and a bad thing sometimes though, because you're training with them at England, and they know how you play, what moves you like to do, which way you like to push in your chair. If you're going to kick, when you're going to kick. It can be a good thing and a bad thing, because you know the same about them as well, so it can help in some ways, but then, be a bad thing sometimes, because they know exactly what you
just got to make it not personal. Like, it's just, at the end of the day, it's we're playing for a different team. I'm going to put everything in for my team, and I'm going to go out there and I want to win. I don't care who's in my way, I'm going to go out there and I want to win, and I'm probably the sorest loser ever. So more often than not, if I do lose, I probably won't speak for about a week. So yeah, I do everything I can to win, no matter what team I'm on. It doesn't matter who's against me. It could be Nathan, you could be going against me. I think we've seen in England training, I'm even the same. And in the England training, me and him are never put together because of
different leagues anyway.
Yeah, we're not allowed to play with each other at training because of how good we are together. I think we're quite an unstoppable duo, and then so every time we go up against each other, he knows what I'm going to do and I know what he's going to do, and we're competitive like that. And more often than not, he gets the best at. He beats me most of the time because of his kicking game, whereas I'm catching up.
And while Shaw's still planning out the players for the last two players behind. He's already gone past you then.
Honestly, I'm trying to plan stuff and then he just breaks through. But you know what he's doing, and that's the worst part of it. You literally 3 players, you're boom, da 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 da, and then you just see Nathan lining up. It's like you're shooting out of a cannon. That's the only way you could describe it. You know what's coming, you know it's there, and he just somehow manages to get through and scores. It's so annoying, but it's a blessing to have you on my team, to be fair, mate.
We'll try and play eyes up, don't we?
Well, you do.
Half the time it's eyes up rugby for us.
Eyes up foot,
yeah.
When we get out of our half, it's eyes up rugby. Try and get out. When we get into their, good ball, it's...
switch of heads.
Switch of heads.
Yeah.
That's when rugby's best played, though, isn't it? When it's not too...
Off the cuff.
Yeah, it's not just too regimented, because you're not going to get anything out of that, are you?
It's just a simple game. You just got to keep it simple, really.
Yeah. Rugby league is a simple game, as Lewis Forsell says.
It is.
Yeah, as long as you've got completion. But, so, the wheelchair game, as we mentioned previously, have men, women, and multiple ages being involved in it. Can you see it getting to the point of separate men's and women's, and as you've said that you've got an amateur side, can you see it getting into age groups?
I hope not, because I think this is what makes it unique.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's so many different people that can play it.
I think in the bigger picture, I think you're going to have people that want to play with women, women that want to play with women, and I think in the future, if we have that many women involved and interested, I don't see why not, but still I don't think you should cancel them from playing international with men's and stuff like that. I think you should still do it the same, but if they want to play with other women, I think that's absolutely fine. And
that's why I think Australia's good. They've got their own women's league, I think, over there. They're all playing against each other, which is, they're playing in the women's league, plus they're playing in the...
So it's still open to play for the men as well?
Play for whoever they want, it's like they're playing for 2 different teams, playing 2 different leagues.
Yeah, I think wheelchair is completely different to any other sport. We're open to anyone, anyone at all, and if you put in barriers against that, you're just going to lose the... From me personally, the World Cup final is the pinnacle of wheelchair rugby league, where it's got, and it can only get better and better and better, and it's look at why it's made it so good, that's because of how diverse it is and how many people are involved and all the different storylines between each players, and I think that if you put barriers in there, you're just going to stop that, and the sport's just going to plummet if you put barriers in the front of it, whereas now it's on a good trajectory and keep going and going and going, and hopefully we can be a part of that and win more trophies and yeah.
Absolutely. So I feel like you're in a similar situation to us this year in terms of your new head coach, James, he played alongside you. Obviously Lois, our coach, she was a player as well. So how are you finding that transition from being playing on the same team to now him being in charge of
Having
you?
to listen to him.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
Well, he's
we
done
coach, don't
Yeah,
we?
we
We're the coaches.
We're the on-field coaches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Player
he's not
coaches.
here at the minute, he's away, so...
He's on holiday, living it up,
All right.
sipping champagne, and
Yeah.
we have to do all the hard yards.
training sessions and
Yeah,
stuff, so...
but there's no change. No, to be fair, it's actually not... For me personally, it's not been a difficult transition because I was captain at England and he was captain of Leeds, and like from the outside looking in, people sort of think of conflict coming on, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm the captain here, yeah, I'm the captain there."
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. But he was just a complete professional with it. He was like, "If you ever need me to help, anything like that, I'm gonna do anything. If you need advice, I'm gonna be there."
Yeah.
And he was actually a part of the leadership group at England as well, so he made it a lot easier for me to sort of do my role, and sort of not like do not anything come between us. And
Yeah.
I'd always go to him for advice, like, what do you think to doing this? What do you think to doing that? And he'd always give me his straight, honest opinion. And sort of, I've always had a respect for him, like as a player and as a coach as well. Like, he's not a particularly good attacking player. It's very similar, as in like with the ball, with offload wise and scanning. But
He's like a second row. When he played, he just took the ball in, took the
took the ball in, runs a good line,
Yeah.
tackles everything that he sees, and that's what you want as a player, but as a coach as well. He sort of opened his eyes to different sports like wheelchair tennis, wheelchair basketball. It's different. He's complete innovative. He's looking at different ways to adapt the sport and adapt the way we play and adapt the way we train, and he's done that a lot this year, and I think that's where we got the awards this year of going 6 wins from 7 games so far, and yeah, I think we're definitely getting the just rewards from that.
Like we said, we've been in the same situation with Lois, and it were never difficult, and I think you'll find it yourself. Me coming in at such a young age, she were always an inspiration, and she always went round to all our amateur clubs, and we went to so many of their camps, didn't we? You were initially with the foundation, now no longer. You went through schools and did wheelchair sessions. How did you find the interest when you used to go?
Everyone absolutely loves it, but the main thing for me was the kids coming up to me and asking for like autographs and pictures and stuff, and I was just like, oh, I've got to actually coach it now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's hard it was hard to do the two, but no, it was just great to see the interest there from kids getting in. As soon as you get into a chair, you absolutely love it and you want to do it again. And I don't know anyone that's got in a chair and not wanted to do it again or come back.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the junior system's going to flourish, and it's sort of creating like a legacy at Leeds. Whereas like before, it was just a first team. Whereas now we've got a platform that we could develop, and there is a system there. I feel just like you with the women's before, they were just like a first team, and then now you just got so many different with the academy and stuff like that going into schools, and I think it's sort of quite similar. And I think, like I said, there's no one like Leeds doing it like this.
So the main question of the afternoon is, why has he got an OBE and you haven't?
Well, they all could pick, certain right people, and
Just pick the important.
All right.
yeah. No, they just picked the captain, the coach, and the player of the tournament, which was Seb and Tom Coyne. So no, it's just good for the sport at the end of the day, really. To get anybody announced in it, even just to get 3 is really impressive. If we even got one, that would be
It's 4, mate.
amazing. 4, sorry, simple as that. I like that one.
No, it's.
You're getting dropped next week.
Luckily, it's not here. So
Tell him not to watch this because you said about his attacking and miss him out on NBA list.
let's not miss out Seb then.
Yeah, it's literally. I had this conversation with someone before. Like when I got the letter, everyone thought I'm in trouble in the family because it was like HIH. So they thought I got a parking ticket or a speeding fine, something like that. And then I opened it up, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And then you weren't allowed to tell anyone about it, so I kept it literally. I didn't tell anyone at all. And then I got a message from Seb saying, "Oh, have you got something through the post?" I'm like, I'm not even going to tell him. I can't tell him. I'm not gonna risk losing it.
Yeah.
But then I had Seb message me saying, "Oh, have you got one?"
Yeah.
And I just thought, "No, I ain't got one."
Mate, I can't keep on quiet.
and then it came out, and then Seb messaged me saying, "Oh my God, you did actually!" I was like, "Yeah, mate. I just had to keep it secret. I didn't want to lose it. it's something that I never thought would happen in my lifetime, to be able to get such recognition. And for even like what we've done from the World Cup, we've met Catherine, the future Queen of England, and I got a letter from her the other day, actually, not to big it up, but I got a letter.
Just casual drop there. Me and my friend Catherine.
Delete my number. You don't know me. No, I got a letter from her just saying congratulations on getting the OBE and stuff like that, and I was just in awe again. It's just like, I can't believe this is happening to me. I'm just a lad from Leeds doing what I love, and yeah, you get just rewards from that, but it's easy to sit back and relax once you've got that. But I think I won't rest until wheelchair rugby league's a mainstay and people like players are getting paid to play the sport, and I probably won't rest until that happens. So yeah, that's my sort of bigger picture, and yeah, lost track of the OBE there. But.
That's good. And that kind of leads me on to like the final part. So what do you think the next stage is for wheelchair rugby?
I think I just moved on to it there. I think sort of going semi-professional sort of thing. I think that's sort of the next sort of way of doing it. I don't know how it's going to go around, but I feel like...
I think that's the way it felt for us at the World Cup, though, semi-professional, you know, we were away for a long time, we were work.
We were in a professional environment for the World Cup, and it was a professional system and set up, and to sort of go to that where we performed at the best we've ever performed, and I feel if you go from that and you want that rewards with not being in a professional setup or not being like that, you're just not going to get the same result. Yeah. So I think like, they just have to be backing behind us and sort of do that. I don't know how it's going to happen, if it's from club level or international level only. I feel like that's the way forward, and I think we're doing the right steps at the moment by increasing participation. So there's a safety net there of I think even the participation levels have gone up 70% throughout the whole wheelchair rugby league. So that's a good bonus to sort of go back off, and then I think the elite needs to sort of just take it to that next level.
Absolutely, I think you're going in the right direction, and we're on board, aren't we? So
you're good advocates for it, and
he's got a trip to Turkey to book anyway for his airline.
Oh wow! So on that note, Nathan needs to get off so he can book his holiday.
Right, so that is our second episode of Be Real, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.